you. This and many more that we ask through your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Let all believers say amen. Okay. So we wouldn't waste so much time. We are moving on to the second agenda on the program. Like I said, if you are here on the platform, you can just prompt a brother, a sister somewhere, because today we're going to learn a lot of stuff concerning love and sex, whether love is sex or sex is love or whatever, whether you use interchangeably or whatsoever. So you can't enjoy this alone. Just prompt a brother, prompt a sister. Let them also log onto this program and then learn a lot of it. So now we are just going to take our welcome address from the president of this house, Mr. Francis Ejapon. So let us all welcome our president, Mr. Francis Ejapon, to give us the welcome address and, if possible, introduce to us some of the dignitaries present. So, Mr. President, you can have the floor. Is Mr. Ejapon on the platform? Hello, Mr. President, are you on the platform?
It's his network.
I think it's
can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for for this opportunity, and I'm so glad that we are all here for today's program. It is actually been a great pleasure. I don't know if you can still hear me. Can you hear me? Because I'm not sure about my network.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I want to say thank you very much for coming here to the program. It is actually a program that we've been thinking of doing for quite a long time. And we are basically going to talk about love and sex. So what we are going to get from this program is basically what love is about, and the questions that our society has, or the explanations that our society has given to love and its relation with sex. So that is basically what we are talking about today. And I would like to actually introduce our guest speakers that are here, just to mention their name. I know the introduction will be done later, but just to honor them of being here today, and we really thank them for their time. Our first guest speaker is Madam Sally Osei. Madam Sally Osei, please, you're welcome to Love and Sex Program, NUGS-CHINA. And our second guest speaker is Mrs. Boache. Mrs. Boache, please, you're also welcome to Love and Sex NUGS-CHINA program. We are looking forward for more information from, more education from you, and then we hope that we will learn a lot from you today. Thank you a lot, and then we may continue with the program. Thanks once again.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much. We appreciate, like you said, love and sex. So today we are not going to waste time. There's no dull moment. And we're going to explain what love is and what sex is. Is sex love? Is love sex? In fact, are they used interchangeably? Are they the same thing? And we're going to look at the societal definitions of love, and did society create love for them to give it various definitions? Okay, in this aspect, we're going to take birth control measures, and that is topic, birth control measures. So what are you supposed to do? Some people may be saying that I didn't know what I saw that the child was here. You should know. Hey, you should know. We are going to look at practicing safe sex. Practicing safe sex. Some people may say that, oh, time no so I'm me too. Hey, stop that. You are going to practice safe sex. And so we're going to look at use of contraceptives. We are going to look at the pros and the cons, the advantages of using contraceptives, and then the disadvantages of using them. All will be discussed under this very topic today. And we also look at the implications of sex before marriage. Some people think that I'll have to test it before I get married to the person. Some says that no, I've been keeping this thing for 25, 30 years. And so I'll wait till marriage before I taste sex. But nowadays they say that the ladies are the ones who are even asking for the sex before marriage. At first, it used to be vice versa. So we're going to dive into it. Our speakers are going to help us dive into whether it is good, it is bad, what are the implications. And so we're going to look at what to know about sex as well. The moment you entered to the room, now you started undressing yourself. My brother, what is wrong with you? So we're going to dive into those kind of things. And then we find out what you need to learn about sex to make it, memorable and then very good. All right. So I wouldn't waste so much time, and then we're gonna introduce our speakers. But I wouldn't be doing that kind of thing. I'm going to invite our Vice President of this house, Mr. Frederick Kramper, to introduce our first speaker. So, Mr. Frederick Kramper, if you're on the platform, kindly. Hello, Mr. Kramper. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, please, you can have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so our first speaker is a professional midwife at Anglo Gold Ashanti Health Foundation in Obuasi, and she's going to take us through the topics of birth control measures and the use of contraceptives. So without much ado, I would like to invite or give the floor to Mrs. Salome Osei Tieku. So Mrs. Salome Osei Tieku, please, the floor is yours.
Awesome.
Hello.
Awesome. Hello.
Hello, good morning. It's afternoon here, so good morning in China.
It's evening here. Good evening.
Here.
It's evening there. We've lost track of time. Okay. Good evening, my fellow, let's say, siblings in the Lord. I'm Miss Sally Osei Tieku. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I continue. I'm Miss Sally Osei Tieku, professional midwife of Anglo Gold Health Foundation. I trained at a master nurses midwifery training college, known to us commonly as Confanoche Nursing Training. That was 2010. Then I went to Kolobu to work for 2 years. I came to Anglo Gold Health Foundation. Anglo Gold is, we all know Ghana. There's this rich city where they have the gold mining center. That's Anglo Gold Ashanti Company. And I happen to work in the hospital. So I'm a midwife and I've been here for 8 years. At least I've had 11 years experience in catching babies. It's not easy, but we are still on it. And as you can see, I'm in my uniform. I'm still working. I'm praying the world doesn't get so busy for me to be interrupted. I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to do a presentation on birth control and contraceptives. When we say birth control, what do we mean by birth control? Birth control is simply regulating the number of children one wants to have. That is preventing unwanted pregnancies. Yes. So this specifically might go to couple, those that are married. they plan. Before they plan, we want to have 2 kids, we want to have 3 kids. And one advantage about birth control, it helps you to space your children and to give them the best of care. Every child will get the best of care, exclusive breastfeeding, enough money and time to care for one to go to a certain age before you plan on bringing the next child to earth. And that is all we mean by birth control.
Motorcycle riders. So I thought I would just share this knowledge. Like I said, Miss Brockett, she's picked up her interest again in learning how to ride. So
Yo,
is it bad? That is the next question somebody will ask. Is birth control bad? Everything we do on vacations, even the food we eat, everything has a complication, but it can be serious and it can be very rare. Rare in the sense that it is not so common someone saying something about complication in birth control. As Christians and unmarried, the best birth control method I would recommend for us is abstinence. That is, stay away from sexual activities until you have the license to do so. So, birth control measures is strictly for couple. But what do we see? We are always having sex. It's a pleasure. It's part of relationship. What we all love in this our youthful age is sex and pleasure. And this sex welcomes babies. If you don't have sex, you will not have a baby. So immediately you get yourself entangled in sexual activities, then you are likely to welcome a baby. So for the single or married ones, I will recommend the best birth control measure, that is abstinence. But if you can't, then I will advise you as the midwife I am. There are so many types of birth control measures. We have the permanent ones and we have the temporal ones. Firstly, I'll talk about the permanent ones. For the women, we have tubal ligation. It is a process whereby 2 fallopian tubes, we have 2 fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes will be ligated, it will be blocked, either tied or cut. When it is blocked or tied, it can be temporal. When you want to have birth again, you go to the hospital and they remove whatever thing they used to tie the fallopian tube to pave the way in the fallopian tube for conception to take place. But when it is cut, it means there is no entry. Therefore, it becomes a permanent birth control measure or family planning. We also call something hysterectomy. Hysterectomy is removal of the uterus, or what is commonly known as the womb. It can be total. When we say total, it means the uterus is removed, the fallopian tubes are removed, ovaries are removed, cervix is removed, so it's empty. That one is chop-free. You chop when necessary, PRN, and you will not get pregnant. It is permanent. That is for the women. And for the men, we have vasectomy. The vasectomy, there is this tube in the male organ called the vas deferens. That one will be blocked. So the blocks makes it temporal. It can be removed or cut, like the tubal ligation, and it is permanent. What happens is that the man can produce sperm, but does not contain semen. When there is a vasectomy, sperm is produced, but no semen. It is the semen that makes pregnancy. So when there is no semen, then pregnancy cannot occur. But it is surprising while men will always tell their wives to go and do the family planning, while they can't. They can equally do it. Men can also do a family planning called vasectomy, either blocked or cuts. That is the permanent ones. The permanent ones is pregnancy free. Pregnancy free. Then we come to the temporal ones. The temporal ones, the best among the temporal ones would be the condom. Condom serves as a dual purpose. Dual in the sense that it does two things. It prevents pregnancy and it prevents sexual transmitted diseases such as syphilis, gonorrhea, HIV, and the lots. It does dual protection from pregnancy and these deadly STDs that affect us. It has great complications. If you got HIV, you know you'll be with it for life. You just have to take some medications to suppress the virus, but please, it will stay with you for life. You have syphilis, gonorrhea, it will affect your child, the eye. They get problems with the eye. Some children can even go blind with the complications. It comes with a lot of complications. So the condom serves as a dual purpose. And the condom, we have two. We have the female condom and we have the male condom. We are common with the male condom because the female condom has two openings which needs to be supported. So it's not really enjoyable with a data collected. So I think it is a male condom that dominates the female condom. And we have the pills, yes. And the pills, we have the microgenome and have the microlux. The microgenome is combined a hormone. It contains the estrogen and then the progesterone. And then the microlux just contains the progesterone. It is a pill that needs to be taken daily to prevent pregnancy. But one disadvantage of the pill is that if you miss a day, possibility of you getting pregnant if you were in your ovulation is very high. If you miss a day, you can get pregnant. That is with the pill. And then we have the injectables. We have the combined hormone injectable, that is the original, that is taken monthly. Every month you go for an injection. And that is a combined hormone. It has the estrogen and then the progesterone. And then we have the Depo-Provera that is taken every 3 months. Yes, it contains just the progesterone. And that's one can be good for breastfeeding mothers. Estrogen suppresses breastfeeding. So if you're a mother, we don't normally recommend the original for you since your baby will be breastfeeding. We don't want the breast milk to be suppressed. Yes. And then we have implants. We have some 2 sticks we will insert in your arm. We have what we call the Jadel. Jadel are 2 sticks. It will be inserted in your arm. It takes only a gossip to know that you have it, except you have a parasma to go about telling the world you have something hidden under your skin. And it protects you for 5 years. Jadel protects you for 5 years. We have implant, that is just 1 stick, and it will protect you for 3 years. And one thing is that if we say you have an implant in you protecting you for 3 years or 5 years, it does not necessarily mean it has to be there for 5 years. If you go for the family planning, within 2 years you want to get pregnant, go back to the hospital for it to be removed and you are good to go. You can get pregnant the next month of ovulation. That is how family planning works. Then we have IUD, that is the intrauterine device. That one is inserted in the uterus. Yes, we insert it. It's a copper. We insert it in the uterus, and that one neutralizes every semen that gets there, so you do not get pregnant. That one has a protection of 10 years. Like I said with the implants, the fact that you have IUD in your system for 10 years does not necessarily means you have to stay away for 10 years. You can remove it anytime you want to get pregnant and you are good to go. You will just get pregnant in your ovulation. We have the reading or the calendar method. That is the natural method. That is the natural method. Know yourself as a woman. Calculate your menstrual cycle. Let's say you menstruate from 1st to 4th. you menstruate from first to fourth, that is 4 days. The first day of menstruation, you start calculating. It is the first day. Calculate to the 10th day. Okay, so you menstruated on first, second, third, and fourth. That is your menstrual days. Calculate the first day as 1. Then continue to the 10th day. So on the first, second, third, fourth, you are done. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, you are free to have sex. But from the 11th, the next week there, you are ovulating, you are in your danger zone. Immediately you get yourself on with unprotected sex, you are likely to get pregnant, like 90% likely to get pregnant. That is the calendar method. So if you know yourself well and you are able to calculate your safe period, then you will naturally protect yourself from unwanted pregnancies. That is, each ovulation, you stay far away from sexual activities. You abstain from every kind of sex. Yes. Then we have the lactational amenorrhea. Lactational amenorrhea is for lactation, simply means breastfeeding, not menstruating. Yes. So what we do is, when mothers give birth, we are preaching exclusive breastfeeding. That is 6 solid months, no extra feed, no supplementary feed, nothing, no water, just the breast milk. Let me chip in this. The breast milk has the right constituents of nutrients for the baby. It contains antibiotics to protect the baby, especially the first yellowish breast milk that comes out, that's the colostrum. It contains antibiotics that protects the baby. So we advise mothers not to expel that one and throw it away. Give it to the baby. Do exclusive demand breastfeeding. Do not say your baby wasn't crying, so you will not breastfeed. At every 2 hours, make sure you flick the soles of their feet to get them crying. Position and attach the baby well to your breast and breastfeed, especially in the night, for 6 solid months. And you are so free from getting pregnancy, because then the hormones will not have settled for menstruation to start. So after 6 months, then we preach weaning of the baby, where you can add supplementary feeds, and then menstruation starts. Sex, you can start sex anytime, like a week or 2 weeks after your birth, but you won't get pregnant. That is lactational amenorrhea. I saw somebody write coitus interruptus or something. That is something I read in the Bible. Somebody practiced and lost their life. Better. That is when they are having the process of having sex. In times of ejaculating into the women, they pull out. That is what we also call the withdrawal method, so that they do not instill the semen in us to get any shared egg ovum to fertilize. And then we have the emergency contraceptive. Let us listen to the name well. It says emergency. Emergency, meaning if it is not emergency, do not take it. But one thing we midwives usually experience is that people take emergency drugs like they are taking water. It is not right. You do not take emergency contraceptive like you are taking water. No, it says emergency. Once a while, maybe it's been a while you saw your partner. You've been away, like your partner is in China, you are in Ghana. He comes, you meet him at the airport, then things happen, just happens, okay? And you are not so ready, you were not safe. Then you can go for the emergency. You forget to protect yourself, and then it happens. So you have to protect yourself. But one thing we have to get at the back of our mind is everything we do on this planet, it has its own complications and side effects. Please, emergency contraceptive has its great side effects if you continue to take it like water. I know some people does it. We don't need prescription to go to a pharmacy shop and say, I'm buying Postinotu, Lydia, mention the names, help me. You don't need prescription for. So they go for it in the afternoon, they take. They go for it in the night, they take. And then you have to have it at the back of your mind that some years to come when you need babies, that is where you're going to get something we call ectopic pregnancies. Yes, where you get the pregnancy instead of the fertilized egg dropping into the uterus to develop as a baby, it is stuck in the fallopian tube, grows there, at times ruptures, and you have to be rushed into the theater room to cut your fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes are just two. So imagine you get a ruptured fallopian tube at the left, a ruptured fallopian tube at the right. A beautiful lady, you get married to somebody's son who are born in Hoka, and then this person will not be productive, not give you procreating, all because of you. You know what you've done, but you keep quiet. And when you go to the hospital, they say, "Can you have a uterus?" And you'll be deceiving people's children that you have a uterus. Yet you self know there has been a surgery to take off your fallopian tubes. So let's be very careful, okay? Birth control measures. It is a means of separating our babies. You want to have 2 babies or 3 babies, and then you plan with your partner. Okay, we are going to have 3 years birth interval or 2 years birth interval. So after birth, you go in for a family planning, okay, to protect yourself so that you can have free range to enjoy. Sex is meant to enjoy for couple, I mean. So you can have free range. And you have pain and go and check the calendar and see if you say, are you ovulating? I think I menstruated last 2 weeks and I've forgotten. You don't know. You go and you get pregnant and your baby is just a year or some months and you are struggling. Please, birth control gives us the opportunity to take very good care of our children, give them the best of education, give them the best of upbringing, and then the mother too, you are so comfortable, the husband is comfortable, putting money there, saving for the house, for the upkeep, and then saving extra for the next one to come. We need to plan in everything that we do. So that is birth control and contraceptive for you. I wish we would gather all our questions, and then after everything, we will take and then I will answer for you. Thank you so very much. And I hope I did well. Thank you. MC.
Wow. That is wonderful. You see, the doctors are speaking. And when the doctors speak, I think that is the final thing to respect to. And Tasali, we appreciate whatever you shared with us, the experience, your knowledge, and everything. God bless you so much. And like you said, the questions will definitely come. And I can see some of them have started posting the questions at the chat section. But we are not going to take it right now. We just gather all these questions and then we will in the latter part. So God bless you so much for this wonderful section. Okay. So family, we are moving on to the next one. We want to save so much time. So at this juncture, I will invite our secretary, Miss Emmanuel Mary Opin, to also introduce our secretary to the program. So Mrs. Emanuela Mary Opin, if you are here, kindly take our second speaker.
Okay, hello, good evening, everybody. I hope we're all doing well. So our next speaker is Mrs. Nana Ifia Boache Chikata. She owns and runs a school with branches in Obuasi and Accra. She's professionally trained as a GES teacher, and she is a product of Bayero University School, KNUSC Secondary School, and St. Louis Training College. She also went to Winneba University, where she met her husband and tied the knot in 2004. Her life is also vested in ministry after being ordained as a pastor in 2013 with the Lighthouse Chapel International. She's married with 2 kids to Bishop Francis Chikata of the same ministry, doing missionary work with their 2 children. Armed with 26 years of singing experience, Nanefia, known in the gospel circles as Ajoiled, has also released her maiden gospel single, Walk On, while making plans to plunge into new business avenues and is set to release more soon. She has started a partnership business called Breakfast and Ice Creams, which seeks to provide a healthy and hygienic variety of breakfast meals and ice creams to the Obuasi Township, and just recently, Smoothiology Ghana, which provides already packaged smoothie ingredients for easy smoothie making. She's a speaker, mentor, and hosts her live shows every Thursday on Facebook Live at 8 p.m. GMT, which seeks to address and find solutions for everyday life problems. Nanefia also runs and coordinates the activities of Female Entrepreneurs Global. So please, without much ado, please let's welcome Mrs. Nanefia Boachi Chikata. Mrs., please, you're welcome to NUGS Nanjing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How is everybody doing?
By grace, we are kicking.
Wow, thank God. As you heard, I'm a teacher, so I like to get feedback. I like to hear people. I like to see them when I'm talking. I hope that is possible today, to be able to see faces and to be able to get responses if possible as well. All right, so we'll go right to it. We're talking about sex and the implications of sex before marriage. Some of us have probably already had sex, and some of us are thinking about it, and some of us have never had it before. So please, can I feel free and talk?
Yes, so feel free, feel free.
Am I allowed to feel free and talk?
Feel free, why?
I should feel free, eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, flow.
Anybody's
yeah,
face.
that's how they're hiding, yeah, maybe.
Mate. But me won't be any. I just see my face, and I want to see everybody's face. If that's okay.
We want to be seeing your beautiful face.
Can I see people's face? I like to see reactions. All right. Good. Great. Great.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So, what is sex? Sex is a sexual activity typically involving. Don't worry.
You can't go from there. What the brothel fry? Country.
Don't worry. All right. So, sex involves typically a penis inserting itself into a vagina for sexual pleasure, reproduction, or both. So when you're having sex, it's either because you want to have children or because you want to enjoy yourself. It's these 2 things. Children or enjoying yourself or both. Because sometimes you're enjoying yourself, then the child appears. You had no intention of having a child, but while you're enjoying yourself, then the child comes through the enjoyment. So that's basically what sex is. But I want to also state that sex is the sole enjoyment policy of married people. And why do I say that? Because the Bible says so. Every time there was a child born in the Bible, mostly you would hear, and Adam knew his wife, and Elkanah knew his wife. Wife knew his wife. It means that they were married before they had the sex. So wife, which means that you need to be a wife before you allow yourself to be had sex with. You need to be a husband before you go demanding for sex. Even though I know in this day and age, I'm talking from the Stone Age, but that is actually what it is. You need to be a wife before you enjoy sex. You need to be a husband before you demand sex. So if you have a boyfriend who is demanding sex, show him your finger and say that you are looking for the ring. When you find the ring, you will willingly give yourself to have sex with. And if there's a lady who is asking or demanding for sex, because I hear that now the women demand for sex. Yes, Obi. show the ring, show the ring. So if you have a lady too who is demanding sex, tell her that you can't see, have you put a ring on her finger? If she says no, then you tell her to wait. When you put the ring on her finger, you will give her all kinds of styles. She'll be very shocked. She won't be able to think well. She should just wait for the ring, and then you flow from there. And that's what it is about. So you must be married before you have sex. Now,
And they
because of our
shouldn't
time,
collect
let's
our
go
money.
straight to the point. I can see faces. So me, I like faces. I can see beautiful AC Hammond. I can see beautiful Amma. Sally is still here, and then Obi. But I can't see anybody else. I really wish I could. All right. Now, what are the implications? Oh, I see Ella Marie as well. What are the Richmond? I can see you on and off. I can see Richmond on and off. All right. So what are the implications of sex before marriage? So yes, you'll be enjoying yourself. But you see all these enjoyment things, all these enjoyments. Truly, the whole sex issue is plenty work. Then in the end, we are doing all that plenty work for about orgasm. How long does it last? I think about 30 seconds to about 40. I mean, 1 minute, I won't do. Have you seen? But you said I should talk. The way people are looking at me is like, you're looking at me as if I'm not, hey, are you okay? They are looking at me. I'm not sure if I should be talking.
We are interested in what you are talking about, so no disturbance.
I'm talking to some angels, be so like that. You don't know what I'm talking about.
We are focused.
Hey.
We are focused.
So as I was saying before these great faces started, as I was saying, the whole orgasm, for those of you who don't know, hi, fuck Yemasaw. If I'm not mentioning your name, forgive me. Hello. So, like I was saying, you see the orgasm that you are, if you want, ask Sally, the orgasm that you are chasing after, 1 minute cry and Drew. Have you seen?
1 minute.
Is the work before all that is plenty. Is the work before all that the touching, the kissing, the smooching, and not be a 1 hour, 2 hours, depending on the mood. And be a but the main thing that you are looking for, it's not up to 1 minute. So you see why you should not be in a hurry to have sex before marriage. Wait. So that when you finish having the sex, you can hold each other for a long period. When you are stealing sex, then you are going. You can't enjoy your presence together. It's not. It makes it like work that you are doing. You see, you people are letting me talk. Let me go to the main topic where I was called. So implications of sex before marriage. Now, the reason why sex before marriage has implications, or I would say has disadvantages, is because number one, you are open to a lot of STDs. I heard Sally talk about some of them. You are open to so many STDs. Now, sex is such that when you do it with one person, now you want to do it anytime.
There's this one talking about love and sex.
So let's say if you are going to have 10 partners before you actually get married, it means you are going to have sex with 10 people. Yeah?
It's talking about love and sex.
Which means you are opening yourself all kinds of STDs. All kinds. Every kind. So, and like I said, most of the sex before marriage is stolen sex. I call it stolen sex. Sex away. So you are not taking precautions. You are just flowing. You want to hurry and move, hurry and move. So you are not taking precautions to know. If you took your time, if you took your time to get married to somebody, you would know that you have to go through counseling. And most churches, most churches require that you go through testing. You test yourself for a number of diseases before you go ahead. So that is even safety in its own. But when you are doing stolen sex, you don't care about what the person has and what the person does not have. You are just flowing as and when the desire comes. So when one of the implications of sex before marriage is STDs, curable and incurable ones. And I don't think we want to have any of those. The other one is comparison. An implication of sex before marriage is comparison. You know, my ex used to have a big penis. Yours is too small. It's not satisfying me. and I'm saying maybe you are married to this person now, but because you've had the chance to go through a whole lot, now you are comparing to this one that you are married to. You know, the ex I used to have, her thing was tight, but yours is too open. It's like when we enter now, there's too much space around the thing, you know. And because you've had sex severally, you are having the opportunity to, hey, your faces are very nice faces. So the way your faces are straight, I'm wondering if I'm even talking.
Yes,
okay, you let me say it. All right, so you have had the chance to compare. Well, if you had not had any sex, you wouldn't even know what this feels like or what that feels like. So what you have is what you are satisfied with. And so premarital sex opens you up to too much comparison to be able to say this was better than that, this was better than that. Setoji, welcome. I can see your face now.
Thank you. Tell them.
All right. Now, the other thing the other implication of sex before marriage is unwanted pregnancy. Please do not let these, when you watch TikTok these days, you can be fooled by so many things. You see a 16-year-old holding a baby, dressed, looking nice, she has posed and is holding the baby. Please, that is for the 1 minute on TikTok. That is for the 1 minute on TikTok. There's work after TikTok, and they are not showing that one. So don't be amazed that, oh, but people have done it. Me too, if I give birth, I'll look after the child. It is not true. So you will get an unwanted pregnancy, an unplanned pregnancy. You'll be in school, you have a child, you have to stop. And I always tell the ladies that, you see, when you open up yourself and you get an unwanted pregnancy, it's amazing that you are the one going to suffer. You are carrying the pregnancy, so you have to stay home. The boy just continues going to school, finishes his school, he continues to do everything he's supposed to do while you are the one suffering. But it is the women that when we talk to, you don't listen. You are the one who is in love. When our kumano, God is love, but you are more than love, so you know more than God. We can't talk to you to change your mind. You see. You see. So unwanted pregnancy. Think about having to sacrifice everything you've ever dreamed of. Think of the money you have to put in. Think of the fact that the guy may not be ready to be a father. You may not be ready to be a mother. Think of the child. A child, most of the time, is children giving birth to children. You have not even adulted. You have not gotten into adulting yet. And then you are bringing a child in. All those things create very dire situations where you need to try and come out. That's what may lead to, I want an abortion. Then the abortion, you know, we always say that if you're going to do an abortion, you may die. You may not have children. That is not always the case. And some people have survived abortions. It's not every time that you will die. Some people are walking around and they've had abortions fully. And there's nothing wrong with them. Some have even married and had children. They are dead. Correct. There's nothing wrong with them. However, what they are not telling you is that those children, I remember a lady who had an abortion tell me that whenever she hears a baby cry, when she hears her own child that she has now cry, she can hear the cry of the one she aborted. The psychological implications of abortion are very real. I'm sure, Elizabeth, you people should get to another day for Nurse Sally to come and tell you about the psychological implications of abortion. It's real. Some of them even have problems associating with children because every time they touch the child, they see the child that they had aborted. You see, so you may have an abortion. Nothing is wrong with you. You are walking around, you are even married, you have your children, but the psychological implications, all because you had sex before marriage. The other one is that emotional bonds are created that become very difficult to separate, especially for women who are very emotional creatures. The first person you have sex with, you find it very difficult to detach yourself from the person because God made sex such that the first person you have sex with is your husband, so that you are emotionally attached to him. Please, as I'm talking, don't think that I'm some angel coming from heaven. Me, I had sex before I got married, and I can comfortably tell you that it was wrong for me to do that. The way people are looking at me is like some angel that I'm talking from heaven. I had sex before marriage, and it was wrong. It was completely wrong. Because
How did you feel?
Sometimes when you are there and you are having sex, your mind goes to this other person that you see what I'm talking about. Please, wherever, if you understand, it's hey, but you, Lizzie, you didn't tell me that it was virgins I was coming to talk to. I'd have changed the topic. You see, and I changed the topic. So you see the sex before marriage thing, you can easily how do I say, sideline all these things we are saying, but the psychological impact is something you cannot do anything about. Our brains are wired like computers. Anything you encode stays there. The first person you kissed is still in your head. You may not like to be admitting it here on Zoom as I move up and down with my glasses, but it's true. It stays in your head. The first person who gave you a hug when you were feeling very down, that hug, it was many, many years ago, but that hug, the feeling of the arms around you are still there. That's how God has made our brains. And so if you go and have sex with somebody before marriage and it was good sex, because there is good sex, I'm sure you know there's good sex. I mean, for those who had good sex, there's good sex. If you have good sex, what happens is it stays in your brain. You see, that's how some people get married. Then when they are having sex, their husband is called Kwame. They say Kwedo. I see what I'm saying. Husband is called Kwame, but they are mentioning Kwedo. It's because when you are made today, or drink, maybe and that's how the brain is wired. If you keep having sex before marriage, when you do marry, your brain has so much in your brain that immediately the person starts thrusting. You're like, hey, this one, no, it's not hitting the G spot. This one is like, it's on the side. You see that you don't want to say it, because if you go and say it, they'll be like, how did you know? Then it will be some way. So you are just keeping quiet and you are there. So emotional bonds are created from having sex. And that emotional bond should be created with one person, your husband. So or your wife, if you have not had sex as at now, don't do it. Don't let anybody deceive you into trying it. If you have, and you've given your life to Christ, well, it is a new thing, so we don't regard the past. You're a brand new creature, but don't be tempted to go and do it. You have too many emotional things bound to you. Now, the other implication of sex before marriage is that sex removes reality for a moment. You're going out to the person and you see that every time you people meet, it's called the animal instinct. Every time you people meet, chemistry begins to work, then physics will come. Before you know what's going on, mathematics and English have added themselves. Then you people are flowing in the subjects. I hope that this parable I'm speaking, you understand what I'm saying, you see. And what happens with that is that maybe you even had something important to talk about. You wanted to talk about the future, how to build your life, but that came and removed that very important thing that you should actually be talking about. So every time you meet, animal instinct just sets in, and all you want to do is you want to kiss, you want to hug, and you think it is love. It is not. You have reduced the relationship to just bonding with sex. So when you get married and reality hits you, that now we have to go to jobs, now we have to make money, we have to pay bills, and sex cannot solve those issues, then there is a problem. Then there's a big problem. So sex just removes reality in the moments, you know, and sex feels like, some feel sex solves all problems. Some people think that if I'm angry with you and I sleep with you, you should stop being angry. If you are hungry and I have sex with you, your hunger should be satisfied. You feel like drinking Coke, let's have sex. You want to go and do your nails, let's have sex. There are bills to be paid, let's have sex. That is not the reality. And by the way, there are men on this platform, they should help me. I have 8 brothers. And my 8 brothers tell me that the women they really loved, they did not sleep with them before marrying them. I don't know how true that is. Only the men can tell us.
Never true, never true, never.
It's not true.
Omobua.
Oh yeah, sure.
Never.
No. You listen to what I said. Or see the person now or worry no.
At
least we are there. It's not. And this are crying. Unless of course, Obama and I say, on the baby. But pass say,
okay.
And they shut down for home. A Bemani inside. So as I imagine, so no on the baby, they are fine. But so then I just also also per some the or which you make up for.
Okay, that means
Clement,
yes.
The batch of Obama knows that particular Obama is all classified. Obama, Edia, or yeah, a Omuko ICGC name, White House for no, yes, Obama, dear new. Obama dear new Obama or don't know open but
the sex is just an add-on something.
Why the question
me are making sorry. Unbelievers. Me because many of my tifie na me hu ma omode o ma ba ho. Inti I know say or can not just say you see the reason why the reason why I believe them is because they could do it if they wanted to, and they were doing it, but they chose that this particular one, I want to spend the rest of my life with. You see, now please let's be real. If somebody really wants to have you, and you tell the person that I want us to wait until we get married, and the person is not really willing to wait, that is not your husband. That is not your wife, because people do even wilder things for people they love.
That's true.
They do wilder things. So it is not just, I mean, especially if, for example, I know a couple who were going to get married in 6 months, and the man said, "Opeso try." I saw try because kotoka showroom I would try. So me, I called the lady and I said, "Me, I didn't know you had become a car and that you are now a commodity. Why should you compare? It is disrespect for any man to compare you to a car in a showroom." The men, can you hear me? And can the ladies hear me? Any man who compares you to a showroom car is very disrespectful. You should not even be going out to that person.
Yeah.
I don't think so now.
I agree, but I think so he just I agree. Never compare
a human being to a commodity. It is wrong in the first place. You should not try it. So if he's bold enough to say it, or he says it somewhere and you hear it, you call him and say, "It's been nice doing business with you. We shall meet very soon, but I'm out." You should not be saying, "I want to try." You see, I always use this argument. I bought a brand new car before, and I know that I'm buying it from a recognized company. If I'm buying it from Toyota, for example, I don't doubt what they can do. So when I go, I don't even want them to try the car. I just pay and I take the car away because I trust Toyota. And I know that even if I go and I get any problem, they will really fix it and replace it quickly for me. So for you to be compared to a car means the person doesn't even trust you in the first place, and the person doesn't respect you. Sex before marriage has so many damaging psychological effects. One of them is trust. Most men who marry women who have already had sex before have trust issues, especially if you sleep with them before they marry you. They'll say, "But yeah, go out class, I want to die." Then the just say, "We only need to know where I'm going to say Monday." They are very real. They are very real. So don't be deceived. The same for the women. The same for the women. I know that women also approach men these days, because I've had a few of my spiritual sons say that a woman told one of my spiritual sons that, "When I see you, then I become wet." I was very shocked, because honestly, I think that women are not that bold, but I think that in our generation today, women are quite bold. So my dear sisters and brothers, my sons and daughters, if I may say, the sex before marriage issue, God created sex for one thing, for man and woman. And when she's got a demon, Cindy, and when God created man and woman, he put them together. He said, "Be fruitful and multiply as man and wife." Anything done outside that is against the will of God, and it's against the purpose of God. Why do people always complain when you have married, you have not given birth? Why are people complaining about it? It's because the purpose for which God created that thing, first of all, was for procreation. Multiply, fill the earth. That is why even the Catholic Church has a problem with some of the contraceptives, because they believe that God said that we should fill the earth, and we are preventing it. You see, so if you are having sex now, that means that you are in line with God. You want to produce. That's why you want to fill the earth. If you are having sex without the notion of filling the earth, then first of all, the purpose for which sex was created has been defeated. Sex, we have put pleasure in there, but God did not create sex for just pleasure. In fact, I don't even remember reading anywhere in the Bible where sex was created for pleasure. It was created mostly for procreation, to fill the earth, to bring more people onto the earth. But he made it enjoyable so that you would want to do it.
Side effect.
Yes, he did that so that you would want to. Yes, because there's too much
byproduct.
Yeah. Yes. So a byproduct of the sex is actually the children that we have. So these are just some. I don't want to go over the time too much. These are just some of the implications of sex. And if my life is supposed to be any example for you, I'm telling you that don't do it. Don't do it. You will find an attachment with one particular person that you will be unable to pull yourself from. And even when you are married, you are going to have a lot of struggles within it. And you will realize that you are struggling because you are supposed to have bonded with the one you are with, but you've already bonded with somebody. And so you are finding it difficult to go and bond with this person. That also has its own problems that come with it. So these are the few points I want to share about sex and then the implications of having sex before marriage. If there are any questions, I'm up for them. Thank you very much for having me.
Wow. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. God bless you so much. God bless you so much. Mrs. Pache. In fact, this has been one of the sessions that I've enjoyed. And I believe most of us on this platform have also enjoyed it. And like you said, most of the questions will come later. And so, family, like, if you have a question, we are moving on to the questions and answer session. And so sometimes we have so many questions and then the speakers are unable to answer because of time constraints. But we try as much as possible to answer every possible question that we can. And so if you have a question, kindly post it and then I will read to our speakers. Miss Sally, please, are you around?
Can't we ask the question directly rather than typing these long questions before you read to our host, to the guest?
Okay, then please let's raise our hands so that we can be able to make this a bit orderly. So kindly raise your hand if you have a question, but we'll start with the person who spoke.
Yeah, my name is Richmond, and I have a very, strangely enough, most people believe when we are talking about virginity, it is mostly the ladies who are virgins, and most of the men are not virgins. I saw in the post, somebody posted 0.001% of men will not sleep with a lady before they marry. I beg to differ. There are men who have never have sex with a lady and they are planning to marry and they are there. But just that they don't, the way we live our lives, we don't come out to proclaim it. So I am planning to marry, but I have a question that my girlfriend, I asked her a question and her response was very, it was very difficult for me to understand. In that I have not have sex before and I want to marry, but she has experienced it before. And I was asking her, so how does it feel and all those things? How would it feel and all those things? Will she agree sex before marriage and all those things? So what if I'm no longer interested in the marriage and I want to leave her? Her response was very, very harsh to me, or I felt very bad because I am coming from the side that I have not had sex before, and you have had. You know what she told me? She told me once I've not had sex with her, I can go.
Wow.
So as a man, if a lady tells you that, and maybe you are also somebody who is very adventurous and all those things, you change your mindset. Okay,
Yeah.
then I have to have sex with a lady, or I have to try and also experience, like, it's like I also have to enjoy it before. You see, so sometimes we talk like we should not do those things. We should not abstain and all those things. But look at a lady who is preparing to marry. Look at her mindset. So this issue of stay abstinence before marriage, I think if we can talk to it very well, not always pinpointing the men that they are the people who are forcing the ladies to sleep with them. Some of the ladies,
They are forcing us.
They are not thankful enough. They are not thankful enough that they are finding these men. So that is my question. It was very, very hurtful to me, but I didn't talk about it. I kept it to myself, but it was very, very hurtful to me. Thank you.
Well,
can I please say something little before Mrs. Chikata comes in?
Okay.
Okay. I remember in my presentation, I said something about abstinence. Say nankaye ayam wari ye kaya betri yem kakra. Is the best. Yes, Mrs. Chikata Kayana. If you don't know much, you save yourself of so many problems. So when you understand? And then once you get yourself so much involved in things, that is where the comparison comes in. That is where insecurity and mistrust comes in. Example, there is a couple that has been married for like 15 years. Recently, the husband calls me and said the wife is seriously kind of accusing him of cheating. The husband is not cheating. All because Owosika Nyamye Shirano and Officer Obi. So when I saw the person now, the man is helping. They ran off the year, but you know, my off but me more young cook, but was lady way nice. So that is the situation. Girl, no, Yamia Bonnie ye, never off the it's the arena shop comparison, but say, so the lady more baby, we could know yet. So I think when he told me and he was like, Ajua, I am not doing anything, you know me. And I was like, okay, that's all right, let me talk to the lady. So the lady also came to me to report. Have you seen what he's doing? And I'm so okay. Have you seen them or seen no? And so what makes you think? Because Michelle lady now. Now say it's not the lady's fault. Sunday na me abon ne ho ofe. Ne ho ofe pa. You know I am ba but who ba because oh this lady is cool. It's in no no insecurity kakra wo hono. And secondly, the next question I asked was, okay, did you people before marriage? I say yes. Now I'm okay. So what is your fear? And so who to me and share. So now I'm so after 15 years. When you saw who lady want me sharing also. And that is it. The things we do need to know. At times we feel like course. And not a castle be a concerning. If I can on share as a concerning. Or not be another one, Becky cancel. It has a long way to be forced and not polish be no can. What you say? That is how.
Yeah.
Or no, yes, son, 1 year, Sakran, when you say, the meet me yet, yeah, we meet me because we are all human.
Yeah. Yes.
If the lady says you have not experienced sex, so she is going, let her go. One day on to the panel, non experience it, or back to the young, and he will regret for the rest of her life. One thing is that God created man and women, and then the amount of lust in men is far higher than that of us. And when there is smooching, there is romance, and there is kissing, the woman has the power to stop it. But it is that highest amount of lust implanted in them. Sweetheart, you might not have done this ever before, but trust me, once you get the right person and you are doing it, you don't need a teacher. How about a professor? It is instilled in you. It is planted in you. So don't force it. When the time comes, no, be your first person. My first time will be our first time. First time. If you get your wife, the first time will be an man for you. You see the second time how you will do. I think first time not you better than the second time. Do not rush it. Let it go. Come. Don't let anybody push you to do things you are not ready to. When the time is right, you are a man, you have that lust in you. It is instilled in you from above. And when you are doing it, you will do it so perfectly. Well, you buy chocolate for yourself. You don't need a lady to give you any accolade. You accolade yourself. Don't worry, cry. What if the American say? That is set for you. Do not rush it. It will come naturally. Once you are in the right mood, it will come naturally. Take that psychological trauma now. They are too if you when you get the right person and you are on track, they always share my number and you say so, Charlie. You said it's you don't mind them. Why? A man, you know, will be back saying, I'm your boy, I'm your boy, so a woman made a funny something. What's it? It's your fair fence with the makeup and everything. Leave us alone. Yeah, like that. Okay, it will come naturally. So, mommy, you can add some more.
I think that Nesali has said everything, so I'm not going to add anything. All I'm going to add is that this is what you should do, Richmond. Be proud of yourself. That as a man, like Nesali said, you have more lust, but you've been able to hold yourself. It is an achievement. Don't let anybody deceive you. It is a very powerful achievement. If you were in Ghana, trophy that you have been able to hold yourself to this point. So don't let anybody deceive you. The right person will come along.
Why?
No, Richmond. So it is an achievement. Don't let anybody deceive you to think that it is how do I say it is wrong. You are some way. No, the right woman will come and will appreciate you for that thing that you have done. Your children and generations to come. You are planting a seed into your generations to come. And you will see that there will be a unique set of people from your line. So don't break it until you marry and you'll be blessed. That's all I'm going to add.
All right, thank you very much, Mommy. And please, the next question. You can raise your hand and then you take the next question. Okay, Folk, your message, you can go ahead. Folk, your message, can go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, brothers and sisters. My question is for both panelists, okay? First, Osof Mami, not a question per se, but something like a contribution. You know, sometimes if whether you have sex before or after marriage, I believe what keeps you moving is respect for each other in your marriage relationship. You made a comment that maybe probably after the marriage, some kakaba then one will say, now cry, we know young warrior crown said we were doing it. No, any man or woman who poses or says that kind of statement in his or her marriage, that means that person does not respect the union in which he or she finds, he or himself in. So I would advise that whether before marriage, in a relationship, in marriage, we should try to respect, whatever union we find ourselves in. Because if you respect yourself, the love will follow naturally. If the love follows, you don't have, that kind of petty, marriage or relationship quarrels that we find in those kinds. Some of us it has worked for us, and I think we need to learn from that. We should respect ourselves, then we can respect whatever relationship that we find ourselves in. My second question also goes to Mamines. Mamines, unfortunately, my wife is also a midwife, but there is this particular thing that sometimes when we are talking about her work, she always says, when I ask her, she's, in the contraceptive, taking the contraceptives, for whether to prevent you from pregnancy or not. I have noticed that most ladies, I don't know whether it's most or some, but I would say most, because when they take, as long as they are taking, you see that there are a lot of change in their hormones. Sometimes you see a slim woman who is taking it, all of a sudden after a month or 2, 3, now I say, I want to know actually what actually causes that particular thing. Not the Kessie only. You see that it changes their menstrual cycle. Sometimes it's even whether brings it down or increase the days. Sometimes the chances of getting pregnant, if they want to and they stop to, also prolong. Because we will see, some you will say that it's part of the effect, but I don't know what is actually causing that situation. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me quickly try and sort mine out, and then Nesali will come in place. My questions are this: what is the order in which things were made? Because everything in the world has order, you see. And that is why today when people say, I want to identify as this, I want to identify with, some of us are upset because we are used to a certain order and we don't know why it should be changed into something else. What was sex made for? That is why I said, what was sex made for? If you have sex before marriage, what does it accomplish for you? And if you have sex after marriage, what does it accomplish for you? These are the questions you should ask. And as I said, you see that most of the time, work experience, the man. You see, most of the time, what you realize is that even when you see, I know this for a fact, the men can deny it. Every man knows which woman he's marrying. Every man knows when he starts going out with the woman. By 2 months, he can tell whether he wants to spend the rest of his life with this woman or not. He knows. So if after 2 months, you don't see any commitment levels in him, you are not the one. And most men, what they do is that when they begin to see that they are not very committed to you, the next thing is that Charlie, so what they do is quickly, apart from a kana. So my question is, if you are not, the main purpose for which sex was made was procreation. If you are not procreating, what are you having sex for? Why are you always having sex with condoms? Why are you always having sex and removing your penis so that you pour out the thing on the floor? Why are you always hiding to have sex? Why does it look like you are stealing something? What is the problem? Because you are not following the man, stop the work experience, because you are not following the order in which it was made for. And another thing I have realized is, you see these men and we are all talking nicely about, oh, I want to try it before that. When it is their own sisters, they have a problem with it. When it is their sister that somebody wants to try and have work experience with, there is a problem. If it is okay for, so if it is okay, why are you having a problem with somebody also trying to get work experience on your sister? That is normal. You have got to have work experience with somebody's sister. So your sister should also be allowed to, you see, it means there's a problem. But if the man is married to his sister and his sister is not even giving sex to the man, he will call the sister and say, no, you must give sex to your husband. You see, because the order has been followed. So the ladies, ask yourself, If he will not allow it to be done on you, on his sister, then he should not be doing it on you. Number two, if the reason for which the man, what Chinese language is that? If he's also not doing it for procreation, then it means that you should not be into it. If he's having a problem and he's trying to prevent you from getting pregnant when having that intercourse, then it means that you should not be doing it in the first place. I think that just wait until marriage. And also, papa no mami krabo radem honamo have sex. Nobody, in fact, they will excuse themselves and leave. But even if it is your long-time boyfriend and you are sleeping with them, when your parents enter, you see that the next question, they may not say anything. The next question will be, they'll want to know what is going on. Why aren't you people getting married? Because there's an order to follow. I believe that if you follow the order, it is good. And then whatever you do, you can say respect, you can say whatever. I am telling you that the psychology, we may not be talking about it. It does not mean it does not exist. You see, like Nesali said, somebody is having suspicion. After 15 years of being married to the person, she's still having suspicions. It means that that thing, it remains there. Whether we talk about it or we don't talk about it, it is in our system. We think about it all the time. Nesali, please, I finished. Over to you.
Please, I have a follow-up question for you. Can I ask before?
For me?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
You see, not that I don't want to. I get what you are. I get your explanation. I get whatever point you are trying to sell out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are told that marriage is companionship.
Okay.
Marriage is companionship, and
mm-hmm.
you go into marriage with the mindset of sex, 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 everything sex, sex, sex.
Yes.
Then always have the so-called trust issues that we
mm-hmm.
about. But if you go in for that, if you have that mindset that, look, I am entering into that marriage for companionship, love, obedience, and whatever it is, you will be blessed with children. And you, the Osofumamis and the pastors, you always tell us, children are, blessings, gifts from God. So I asked this controversial question.
Mm-hmm.
I did not sleep with any lady or the lady I married. Okay.
Okay.
I married her, and children or pregnancy is not coming. We went through formalities. We did all tests. Medically, we are both strong. We are both healthy. The guy is strong to impregnate, to father a child. The lady is strong to, carry 9-month pregnancy. But kids are, you understand? I want you to dwell or, talk a little about that, for us.
Okay. Now you said that if you enter into the marriage with respect, with love, with obedience, and you don't enter into the marriage thinking about sex, then you have a good marriage. Where are you building from? Everything has a foundation. Even relationships have foundations. Anybody who has entered into a marriage thinking only that sex is because the beginning of that relationship was sex. That is why they have entered into the marriage thinking that it is sex. You have not taken your time during the relationship to learn to sit and communicate. You have not taken your time during the relationship to learn what respect is, what love is. Every time you meet, you want to kiss. Every time you meet, you want to have sex. Every time you meet, it is about physically touching each other. When there's in fact, all the questions you are asking, if you listen to me, you realize I've answered all of them in it. When you are together, you are not talking about anything apart from you're looking pretty. Hey, I want to kiss you. You look nice. Can I give you a hug? That's all you're talking about. You guys have never sat down and said, how many children do we want if we have children? How many cars do we want? What house do we want to build? What are your aspirations? What are your visions? You see, all you ever do when you meet is you look nice. You look attractive. This my boo. He's handsome. See how tall he is. That's all that the current world is about, physical appearance. So most women know how to do makeup. They don't know how to cook. because the men want something that looks like a goddess. Your buttocks has to be this size, your breast has to be this size. So what you must decide for is that how did you build? What did you build? Where did you build from? What is the foundation of your relationship that you are taking into the marriage? I always give this example. When I was going out with my husband, he was not yet a pastor, but he was he was one of the very wild people in church. Valentine Day about Obapa, so roses bina, chocolates bina. I mean everything that I'm expecting that should come to me. People have been receiving their own. I was like, Charlie, my own day, the way it's taking long. When it comes, it will not be a simple thing. Mr. Man shows up holding a very nice wrapped thing. I'm like, this packaging there, okay, but let me open. You may never know. Powerful things come in small sizes, so let me look. I open and there's a book from Daggy Word Mills. And then at that time we were using tapes. Near you should tape. Near this one, now when you to play. He had bought me 2 books and 3 tapes. Were happy or they are me Valentine. Please, you see the way I'm laughing here. That was not how I was amused. I was not amused. Chocolate. All these people chocolate and this man, he did not see. Then he was going to bring me books. I did not read that book. I did not touch. I was very upset. But you see, let me tell you something that I did not realize. He kept investing books and tapes into me. You see what we are doing now? I'm talking. Most of the wisdom I get is from the books and the tapes he has brought to me to listen. He was investing into my future. He was investing into stuff. Into some casa, then let him invest into casa so that when I talk, I'm making sense. I'm not just talking. And today, this is the result. People are calling me to talk all over the world. As I'm talking, I have not mentioned him. This is the first time I'm mentioning him. So what did you build on? What did you build on to enter into your marriage? If it is sex, then obviously when you get into the marriage, it is sex. If it is other things, then obviously when you get there, the respect, the obedience, whatever, build it in the relationship and it will enter into the sex. Now, the second thing is about the children. The truth is that if I say I have an answer, I am a liar. I don't have an answer. And I don't know why God blesses people with children and doesn't bless other people with children. Yes, there are some people that when you look at them, you realize that if God gave them children, they would not be able to handle the children. And there are some people that God has given children that you wish God didn't give children. I run a school. Some of the way the mothers behave, it is very strange, I'm telling you. Some mothers bring their children to school. They have not even given them food to eat. Sometimes a 4-year-old, the mother doesn't want to get up and cook, so she gives the child cocoa to eat because she's not ready. Or better cocoa, house cocoa, not the buffalo and on a lunch. So this person, if God has not given the person a child, we are there praying, God, give the person a child, God, give the person a child, then God give the person a child. This is the result of it. I have a young lady who has not had a child. I know, I've known for about, let me say about 15 years. And she doesn't seem to be bothered about not having a child. And I asked her, what is the problem? So I want to make sure maybe she's not interested in a child. Because she's waking up in the night and those things. So we may think that God hasn't blessed these people with children, but we also don't know the prayers that some people have also prayed. We have white people, most Europeans who say that, oh, me, I don't want children. And they even go and cut their fallopian tubes and all that. So I really cannot say that I am giving you an answer as to why God doesn't give people children. I can't answer that, honestly. But I know for a fact that there is an order for marriage and an order for sex. And it would be better to go that way.
Okay.
Now, Sally, please, I finished though. Thank you. I think Sally is busy.
Oh, okay. I think when she comes.
But she's coming.
Okay,
okay, I'm here. Sorry, I'm working. I'm working at the same time. And my question was the side effects of the family planning contraceptives. Okay. Remember when I was making my presentations, I talked about hormonal and non-hormonal. You see, the human beings development in your hormones. The men have the androgen, and then the mom that's masculine with the deep voice and those changes in that is their hormone. And then we female are privileged to have we are two. Let's say be the complicated. We have the estrogen and then the progesterone. And then the woman is that figure and those things, you know. So somehow, some way, we'll see it's maybe any animal maybe or project and no, unfortunately, it's not their fault. Or maybe a money who snake a crack a system. So they do those things, it's not their fault. Yeah, you say, your matter. Now, question with no master take a man nearby and we sit back and we criticize. It sounds like what you animal might be who some way a mema, which now or your barber to your the day they are probable. Almost no can't promoting area and mema who moons make a father's the androgen. And you know, when I was making my presentation, I talked about hormonal contraceptives. It's when you have these hormonal contraceptives now, and no, it's me a how. Kakra in the sense they say obiani woman. It's before a person goes for family planning, the trained personnel will ask you some questions. But one thing I've noticed about us as humans, they say if the hospital is one place that you should never lie. Hospital you call control. But you move your hospital, may you transfer. Who send us no they are to her? Who send us no they are to her? And they always go with an intention. Sister, be a minute, you know, or not the addition and same you know, yeah. It's your new one or when they come, at least we put every family planning before us and categorically we teach them one after the other. The OBI side effects. What is good for you, what is not good for you. After taking your history, your medical, surgical, personal, family history, we take you through all these things and we tell you this one is good for you. And it will surprise you. Now that for no name, I'm not giving you and one okay. We are the shade and one okay. Okay, and when you come into health, they have like we work with rights. And it's an emergency. Yesterday we had the same thing. Emergency. I mean, because it's the mother waiting a pregnancy to 10. It's time for the person to put to bed. Meaning the baby is exhausted, the baby is in distress, something is killing the baby inside. The only option is an emergency cesarean section. Or say, men yet, one for me, papa, never power was slim. Yeah, first in my uncle. Or no, so say, young friend, papa. Oh, yeah. Yes, this is something we should do to save her life, but she is above 18 years. All right. Now, but you can't take this person to the theater because if you do, and there are complications are bound to happen. Obiani say, "Oh, took a quite sorry." When you say sorry, no, but to be quite be back of course, I'm an accident to be a bit and nine. When you say, "Oh, be quite me up China yanka won't cough." What's if you read your Bible? Yes, so complications are bound to happen. What the nickel theater is something happens and this person will take you on. They say lawyers be only chamber or one and mammy covers the next meeting and what's yam and let's leave in the coach just and the and it's sincere Lisa, me and mammy, what that's just me license. So, I'm not ready to lose that license. At least with the year Jumaka. The supportive here a grab Marcus Senior Diabra, me projects in Kakran, my own power nonsense and measurement license, mammy yet being who they from a bravo yes here. You understand? So you see there's something you can do easily to save a life, and this person is preventing you. So what do? You're trying teachers. Midwives are more than teachers. So mommy, you've been through childbirth and you know what I'm talking about. We talk. Oba no ho hu se ne ho be ye fefefe hu se ade akre wo hye ne ma me ye hu se ne ho fe se ne papa anim bi so wutu fo se ne ho fe en tronko a kan fu sha plan no be ba hye akre wi pass di nyame be nam ne so am wa ye nhira no na fe ya da ne asofo kre futi.
Oh my goodness.
Ansana odasani be ti ase assign I'm here in Nahotia, and no one wasted over 2 hours. The baby was blue. I see a picture with oxygen. And some are crowd we used to. It took over 30 minutes for the baby to cry. Seriously, oxygenated blood to the brain was delayed.
I was wondering about that.
A crowd we say the IQ will be low. Don't mean just smart like other case are we because there was oxygenated blood going to and fro. It's in IQ, no, it's prepared. Obey off and your picture na prayer sorry. It's a practical school near Chen A say apple. No, but no case A ya baby memo no what no one map plan a bonus. So would you make these are the things we go to treat at the family planning, though it has its effects. Yeah, menses a beco for more kakra. A better chance when you normal menses because the baby account namuna ama fina who never be soon. Now prepare bibia manema settle. See, when they take the family planning and they are becoming big, once and when they do not complain and they continue to take it, it will get to a time they normalize. They normalize, the size comes back. What you say? On your family planning that. Okojina weighing skills, just I know you should some because buno. Also change the more we change weighing skill or say no on your family planning down. If you will be big, you'll be forgive. Check your living, check your lifestyle. You did do. And I just accommodate me. Of course, fridge, Milo, or Betty, Ayano was a bank, money, Japan, or Fatino.
Preach to me, but wait.
Oh, you're the question family planning. You understand? Family planning, or when you but please, one thing they are not telling you is that when they go to the hospital, they go with their own perception. Me pay way, and the service personnel will say whatever and they will never agree. They come with their own. But whatever side effects that comes with family planning, we explain to you. These are the normal side effects which we wear off over a period of time. But when it gets to this, report to the hospital and let us change it for you. So we always give them advice that they come for it to be changed for them. It's the fact that Kara anye juma mameno does not mean say para anye juma mami sister. Say diclo para anye juma mamia. Diclofenac ebitimi aye juma amame. It may power chow. They report, we change it for them. But they mostly come insisting on what they want and what you say is nonsense. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Family, time is fast spent. Time is fast spent. And I think Ama's hand is up, but you will take that last question. And then whilst our speakers answer that question, they will give us their last words in 2 minutes. So Ama, please go ahead and then ask your question.
Okay, so my question will follow up after I share a personal experience with regards to insecurities that pop up when you start engaging in sexual activities before marriage. There's a follow-up question.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Go ahead, Amma. Go ahead.
Okay, so right, let me just get on to the question since you said there's no sharing of experience. I would like to know what I would need to do if I want to abstain from sex. I mean, with regards to self-control, if I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
Please go ahead with your experience.
Yes, your experience would help us a lot.
No,
if you could.
It's fine.
Okay. All right. Amma, if you want to abstain from sex in a relationship, that's what you asked, right? If you're in a relationship and you want to abstain from sex, is that it? I wanted to be sure.
Yes. Yes.
All right. First of all, I would advise that you don't go to places where you be alone and in the dark. Because you see, like we originally said, you are in love with this person. So anytime you are left alone, chemistry will start, physics will start. And that is why I said all the subjects will come into play. So try as much as you can not to be left alone in the dark with this person. Try and make sure that you are always not alone. Number two, try to tailor your conversations into something that does not have to do with sex and does not have to do with emotions, blah, blah, blah. For example, if you want to watch a film like Titanic, I think you should do it at a cinema and not in your room, alone, in the dark, movie night. It's not advisable. It would spark all kinds of emotions and bring you into all kinds of places.
Yeah, welcome movie home.
So do that, and then also try to do more group activities where you have more friends together. Like I've already said, have conversations that are bordered on other things and not mainly on feelings and all that. Also, one thing I've come to realize is that try not to stay angry for too long, especially the women. If you stay angry for too long, this is something most people don't talk about, but it is very real. When you stay angry for too long, you bother the man. He's hurt that he's hurt you, and he's going to try and comfort you. He's going to try and talk you out of it. Now, if the two of you are alone and he's trying to comfort you and talk you out of it, he's going to be touching you, he's going to be trying to hug you, he's going to be trying to convince you, and that could lead into sex. So accept it is something that is you cannot just switch off about. If it is just these petty relationship issues that occur all the time, then quickly come from being angry and try. Yes, make up sex. Yes, iPhone says make up sex. That's true. Quickly recover from it and try and talk about it. Also, open your relationship up to, I don't know what you have where you are, but open up your relationship to people who are, I think Falk is married, for example. Open your relationship up to people who are objective and godly, so that you can always talk to them about any problems. You can talk to them about your feelings, because those feelings are really real. I have spiritual sons who can call me and say, "Mommy, today the thing it come my neck, today, dear, I get like I go do." Then I'll say, "Hey, come, let me give you a place to read. When you finish reading, I'll see if you can continue with that mind, So open up your mind open up your relationship to people who can advise you and be with you throughout whatever it is. I believe that these can help, and pick friends that will encourage you to stay away when you want to stay away. Don't pick friends that will say, if you don't do, you will not know. Like we are saying, go and test. You must test to know. Friends like that don't help. Pick friends who say that this is your choice and I'm helping you to stick to your choice. That is also, that also helps. I don't know if I've been able to answer Amma well enough.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mrs. Ella, I saw your hand. Though the time was up, but once we had 2 questions from the men, I wanted to give you that chance. Are you still willing to ask?
Okay. I saw a question in the chat from somebody asking that. So what if you are done procreating? What do you do? Is it that you stop having sex? For the married people.
Oh.
Yeah, so if some of us have
not.
decided that we are not going to procreate anymore, like we want to stop, should we stop having sex or we should enjoy it? Thank you.
Hey, enjoy.
Yeah, Ella, I think.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, I think
enjoy.
They keep enjoying. So mommy says keep enjoying.
I think I even said it, that it is both for enjoyment and procreation.
Yeah.
So definitely when procreation ends, enjoyment must continue.
Enjoyment will follow. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, family. Thanks very much. This is how far the Lord has brought us, and then we don't want to take so much of your time. So in 2 minutes, we are going to take our final word from.
Friday.
Mr. Collins, compare girl.
Yeah, we are going to take 2 minutes, like general advice from each of our speakers. So we will take just the general advice from. So someone we can start. I think Sally is kind of busy, so your final words. Yeah.
Wow. First of all, I want to say that sex is a good thing. It is not a bad thing. It is a very good thing. However, I would encourage everybody to fight to enjoy it in your marriage, and you will not regret that you did. Like I said, if you've already had sex like I did before marriage, you can still abstain and wait until you're married, and you will still enjoy it. I want to encourage us that you can be strong. There are so many things that you have been able to stand for. This one I won't do. Whatever they say, I won't do. And I would encourage that sex be one of them. That until I get married, I won't do. This one I will not do. I'm waiting until I get married. Those are my final words. And I also want to say a big, big thank you. God bless you for having me here and for the opportunity to speak to all you lovely, lovely people. You made it so nice to be here. The man from Richmond.
So, there's one question I cannot overlook. There's one question I cannot overlook from our president. So please, I'm gonna read it so that you help us. He says that I'm convinced to stay away from sex till marriage, just to avoid being shy and probably disappointing my wife. Can you briefly describe how good sex should be?
Oh, just say. I mean, you see, let me tell you something. There is, you see, no matter what you've done, there's something about the honeymoon night that cannot be put into words. The first time that you see each other, get into bed naked and have sex, there's just something about that if you take it away before you get married, you will not enjoy your honeymoon. What are you even going for the honeymoon for, by the way? Just stay in wherever you are. You've already had your honeymoon. And sex can be so good that for the next 1 week, your brain, please, Sally, help me. Is it all the endorphins in your brain are just excited? You are happy when you meet everybody. Sex can be that good, And how can sex get good? That one there is a whole new topic for a new day. There are styles, there are ways to approach each other, there are ways to communicate so that when you get into bed, it is chemistry. And before you know what's going on, we are done in way, so done in. You see, by the time you are kissing, you know where to touch, you know what to do, sex is brilliant, but have it during marriage. So that's when you are not sure that you are sure that nobody's coming to knock on the door, come and disturb you or anything. You are not afraid that this and I will get pregnant. Nothing like that. You are feeling free and enjoying yourself.
Airbnb.
That's what I think.
Disturb. Airbnb.
Okay, awesome.
Airbnb, the man.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think many people want to ask questions, but the program says we have to close at 10 and we don't want to go overboard. And I think we have to let our speakers also do other equally important assignments. We don't want to and we really want to give them so long, But before we take Nesali's last words, someone is having a question. I think there are two questions, and I want to combine them. He asked, "What is the effect of the withdrawal method?" And I want to add it to someone's question that says that what amount of semen is needed to get a lady pregnant? Because he remembered he pulled out, but a little drop in. So, Nesali, can you help us address this? I think there are two in one question. So, if you can help us.
Okay.
Talking about the coitus interruptus or the withdrawal syndrome. That one is a natural birth control measure. It is solely based on the man. Obani any home idea. We do not know when you are releasing anything into us. Into a man and it is a communication in his mind. Only you say something is coming, so let me pull out. But one funny thing about this thing when we were taught in school is that time when something is coming out and you want to pull out, that is the time the man is climaxing. It is very difficult for them to stop it. It is very difficult for them to stop it because no that time when all do stage, you were also climaxing somewhere. The things you did, you also wishes that also you happen to would. Now, the maybe the drew me so some baby drew on my was in because so
man, this your face.
Emergency contraceptives, not that it sense, you know. Because I won't see me, sir. If you want now, my colleague, you know, we are midwives. Like at times we talk like, you know, when we are saying had a push had and all the. It remember so that you withdraw because you'll be pregnant. I will have that. You will feel it. At the end of the day, you go and drink the emergency contraceptive and you get the problem. What you are saying? It might be the best amongst the contraceptives we talked about. But Charlie, where you are and where you want to come out, it is not easy. It's mostly, it is not successful. It is not successful. The only negative effect of it is the fact that onto me back at the right time and spends semen say it will be seen and a better form of it contains millions of sperm. And when you meet in Shishayamuno, if the woman is fertile and the ovum is sitting there waiting for somebody to come and fertilize the and one let me tell you something. You think you have sex today.
The
semen or the sperm can stay in the woman for days.
Yeah.
Days and sana. I wouldn't say it can stay there for days. It's in an implantation, conception, and take place or China a bit messy. The next day, a bit messy. Oh, and one thing again is that emergency contraceptive, when you take when there is fertilization and you take it and
wow.
And once pregnancy has taken place, it doesn't work. You are pregnant. And some children are so stubborn that son and yamia born. Okay, costrobra, quadra table, so near your abortion.
Baba.
Yeah, the type.
It has the negative effect is that withdrawal needs to be mantled into mostly what time because we need to see the man is what yes. And the positive is that a natural any side effect and then my last words. When Mommy was talking, she mentioned abortion. As Mommy, you just talked about the psychological effects of abortion.
Yeah.
Emotional effects, and you left the biblical. Biblically, Bible says the way means you are going to drink that blood. You think that sakra nema boni nema dada ni nechem ye ni na ba ye nema popo ye no ti asie ye no you will drink. Stop killing. Stop killing. The fact that you took a machete to slaughter someone and the government, human being, your fellow human being, will jail you to years imprisonment. This one will be so much kind of time. That's the way they moja talking. Moja, that moja is the midwife talking to you. That moja is the soft mommy preaching to you. That moja is your mother. That moja is your soul. So that small thing you think it is moja and you took it away might have been the president of Ghana. But you took it out and you were saying it is muja. The psychological trauma is there, emotional, physical trauma is there. Spiritually, you will drink blood. Why you be that started bomb pay saying a mental so into 20 years now, who knew heaven and a member na asa. But they are chow. That's how I walk on them. And those aspiring to abort, critics, if you are doing, because killing, we are killing. Sata, you give that and bring it to me. What do you get to a so you've also killed. If I watch out, abstinence is the best. If you can't abstain, protect yourself. But once you are protecting me, I'm doing my work. Make sure all the things you can use to protect, but please, make a right choice. But you make the right choice. Let us live a very beautiful, godly life. Let's not just mention with our lips that we are Christian, but let our day-to-day activities do the speaking that truly this is a Christian. Manage your personality, your attitude. Think about your integrity and the impact you have on life. That is the ultimate. God bless us all.
God bless you.
God bless you so much. God bless you.
It's a follow-up question. Is a follow-up question allowed, please?
No, it's not allowed. I think give her last words, please.
Oh, but it's important too. It's really important.
Let us respect. We will organize another program. So keep that question. When that program comes on, you ask. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes,
as I believe this I believe these 2 hours spent has been a wonderful one, just like mine. And so we wouldn't want to waste your time. We can see Nesali is working, but she has given us so much of her time. And then Sofmami also has got a lot to do, but she also spent it with us. So guys, let us respect their time. And then so that next time when we call them, they will come. They wouldn't say these people, they don't respect their time. And so when you want to go, they won't let you go. So please. So without much ado, we invite Miss A.C. Hammond to give us the vote of thanks and if any other matters. So Miss Ali, please. Miss A.C., sorry. Miss A.C., are you around? Hello, Miss A.C. It seems
Miss Hammond. Okay, we would like to say a big thank you for everybody coming here and joining us today. It's really been a pleasure having everyone here today. It's not been easy, but we've been able to organize this program successfully, and it wouldn't have been possible without your participation. So we want to thank the MC. We want to thank everybody from all the other chapters. We want to thank the Nanjing executives for organizing this program. We want to thank Mrs. Chikata and Miss Sally. We want to say God richly bless you for availing yourselves to be an instrument to speak to us about this love and sex thing. And we want to say a good evening to everybody and enjoy your nights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sister.
Oh, and lastly, please stay tuned for more programs from NUGS Nanjing. Right? Stay tuned. We have a lot to offer.
Stay tuned. A lot of NUGS Nanjing for everyone. So, just like we began. Yes, as we began in the name of the Lord, we are ending in the name of the Lord. So we invite Mr. Kofi from Nanjing Audit University to give us the closing prayer. So Mr. Kofi, if you can hear me, kindly take us through.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear.
All right, then shall we pray? Let's humble ourselves as we pray. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful unto you for your love and kindness, for your protection, guidance, and love. Thank you for seeing us through the program successfully. Thank you for the insights you've given us. We pray that you continually endow us with wisdom to carry on with our sexuality and our love lives. As we close this program, we committing ourselves to you, asking thee to protect and guide us even as we return to our beds. See us through the night and wake us up refreshed, revived, and renewed in thee. For this is a humble plea. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. God bless everyone for
Amen.
Amen. Just like our secretary said, there are amazing and wonderful programs coming your way. Amen. So stay tuned.
I'm an FC.
And watch out. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Francis, bye-bye. Collins, bye-bye.
Ella, yeah. If me dem no almost see me here, pull out. What is that?
Patroane, Matibida. Next question.
Collins.
Yeah. Oh, Boga.